Yo guys, how are you doing? This is Rob of Rule of 2 Review. Welcome back to the channel, and let's talk about that Super Mario Maker 2 Nintendo Direct. So, as I discussed yesterday, Nintendo did announce that a Super Mario Maker 2 focused Nintendo Direct would air today. They gave us just 24 hours notice, which is kind of rare for Nintendo nowadays. And people were pumped. People were excited. And I discussed on my video, it was an exciting thing. Of course, I had to remind you guys for what feels like the 5th time in the last month that I'm not somebody who's really a big Mario Maker fan. You can see that I own the first game right here. I played quite a bit of it. And it didn't really work for me. It wasn't something that I was interested in terms of playing other people's Mario levels. I've kind of learned that I prefer Nintendo's Mario levels. And so going into this Nintendo Direct, I was excited to see what they were going to show. I was excited because Nintendo Directs are just exciting by default. And then I was also, curious and excited to see how you guys reacted to it. The fans of Mario Maker and the people who really wanted to get something out of this game. And the Nintendo Direct happened. It was pretty impressive, I have to say. However, did this change my overall viewpoint on Mario Maker? Not really. However, that's okay. That's not actually a problem, and as I mentioned at the end of my previous video, I wasn't looking for this to change my mind on Mario Maker. I didn't want them to make a Mario Maker game that was so different and pulled away so much of what made the first game good just to appeal to someone like me who wasn't already a fan. I only wanted them to make the kind of Mario Maker sequel that appealed to you guys, that makes already established Mario Maker fans interested and excited about this game. I don't want them to change a series just for me. I've said the same thing with Pokemon before. Make a Pokemon game for Pokemon fans. Make a Mario Maker game for Mario Maker fans. I don't need to be swayed either way. I have to say that coming out of this Nintendo Direct, like I even just mentioned, it really was impressive. So here's the thing. Regardless of my opinions on Mario Maker, when we look at this Direct, how Nintendo put it together and what it showed of this sequel, I was impressed. I was very, very happy with what I saw. I think in terms of just format and delivery of content and information about a sequel, they nailed it. One of the strongest directs simply in terms of presentation. Obviously, content wasn't for me, but the presentation was great. And through that, it was a lot of it was simply because when we look at Mario Maker 2 as a sequel, yeah, it seems like they threw a lot into this game. If you think about it, it's a testament to how good of a Nintendo Direct this was, simply because myself, as a non-fan and a non-expert in terms of the first game, because after the first 2 weeks, I stopped playing it altogether. And so for myself as a non-fan and expert, I was still able to take away how much insane new content and new tools and new abilities and new modes they threw into this game. I do not feel in the dark about how great of a sequel this will be to that original game. And like I said, it is a testament to this Nintendo Direct as a presentation and to what Nintendo did and really how they made this game. And so I am happy to see a lot of these new elements showing up in the game. I want to talk about some of the things that I took away from it in terms of how much stuff was new, but it is tricky because it's hard for me to parse every single individual detail from the new stuff from the old stuff. So some of the stuff I might mention as new could be something that I thought I interpreted as new from the Direct, but maybe you guys would be able to point out, oh, that's not new, that's just the same thing that was in the first game. Because like I said, I completely just forget about the first game after the first couple of weeks. But, there's a lot of new tools. I think that's one of the first things that I took away. And one of the biggest sections of the Direct is how many new tools were actually thrown into this game. The biggest thing that they showed off in that first trailer months ago was the fact that they added slopes. I didn't even remember there wasn't slopes in the first game, but people were elated to see that in that trailer. And so that was really exciting. On top of that, I really just don't feel comfortable breaking down the individual tools, but they spent what felt like 7 or 8 minutes of this 15-minute Direct just talking about new things you can do to manipulate the world, change the time, change the scrolling up and down. Different platforms do this, some move at different speeds, some move up and down. Spikes, just, changing from night to day. You touch the sun, you lose life. You touch the moon, you kill all the enemies on screen. They showed a lot of this stuff, and it was impressive as they just kept rattling off a new tool, a new mechanic, another, and another. I was like, damn, they really are not messing around with this game as a sequel. They really killed it here. And so considering that this is a game all about the tools, all about the building blocks that they provide to you, the player, to make stuff, adding all of these new tools and elements and mechanics is like the heart and the meat of the experience. And it's what people want out of a Mario Maker game. It's what I know all of you guys want out of this sequel. And like I said, all I saw was evidence that they just nailed it here. They added so much cool new stuff for fans, and I'm really, really happy with it and excited to see that. I will talk about, here's what I'm going to talk about. The biggest and best thing that I took away from this, the thing that made me the most excited. They did talk a lot about 2 brand new game modes. The one that had me the most excited is, surprise, surprise, the story mode. And the story mode is kind of similar to what I think they tried to do with the first game, but I think executed a little bit better. Because it's all about, here's over 100 levels designed by Nintendo developers for this game that we're giving you to play in this story mode. The first game did that, and I was excited for it, but I turned out to not enjoy it at all. In this game, they are adding a little bit of context to these levels because Captain Toad is trying to build a new castle, basically, and so you, as Mario, have to work with him to go through these pre-developed levels from Nintendo developers to gain new, I don't know, items, abilities, or something that allows you and Toad to continue to build the castle and add new levels and environments to it, and you just get new levels to play as you go through it. And like, dude, yeah, that's something that I'm into, man, because already what I want out of a Mario game is just a regular Mario game where Nintendo developed and created everything. The story, the maps, the levels, all that good stuff. And so having a story mode in Mario Maker 2 that's from Nintendo developers with some context is the closest to it being just a normal Mario game it can get. And so the story mode is appealing to me, and I like what they did to kind of change it a little bit. And so I'm curious. It definitely kind of sort of a little bit makes me think about giving in and picking this game up to see if the story mode is worth it. I'm not yet decided because I have a fear that I might still not enjoy it like with the first games, like 100 levels challenge or whatever they called it in that game. And the levels might not just be exciting like I'm hoping that they are. So tough call there, but I did want to bring it up as an absolute highlight for me because I thought the story mode stuff was really cool. Now, the other mode that they talked about and spent a lot of time on is what they were calling Course World, which as far as I could tell from the way they broke it down in this direct was basically the online hub, so to speak, for getting online and sharing your levels and playing other people's levels and doing a variety of other things. And that was cool. I mean, they had a similar kind of system in that first game as well, which was fine for what it was for playing, you know, levels that people create. I think that there was some search engine problems, but overall it was fine. What they seem to do here is cool. It's definitely more efficient. They added tags and comments within the levels. I thought that was very smart. I liked the idea of using tags to find scrolling levels and puzzle levels and, you know, the examples that they used in the Nintendo Direct. It's like, oh, that's pretty smart, I think. If people use those things accurately when making their levels, people will probably enjoy sifting through those. And the comments about, here's the best thing to do here, don't go this way, don't jump this way, yada yada, throughout the levels. Very cool. In the first game, they had that thing where whenever you died, it would show all the little icons on the screen, show where everyone else died in that level too. But here with comments, it's a little bit more interactive. They might have had comments in the first game too, actually, though, right? Am I remembering that right? I don't know. You guys will have to correct me. I can't remember. But regardless of whether it was there before or not, I do like seeing it in Mario Maker 2. I thought that was actually really cool. The download feature was very impressive too, where you can download levels and save them to play later. I like that because it's like, let me just grab the online levels that all the other people are creating out there in the world and just put them on my Switch and on my game so I can just play them regardless of being online. That was really, really great. Another huge thing that they added, and I admit this is also very cool, was they added online versus and co-op modes. Very, very smart for this, especially considering we were introduced to Mario Maker with this amazing Nintendo World Championships competition, which was so exciting. You know, everyone talked about it that year, how fun that was, seeing people kind of compete against each other. And they never had anything that worked like that in this Mario Maker in the first game. But now they're bringing in some stuff, like you're racing to the finish competitively with other people in your match. Or you're doing other things where you have to accomplish stuff together in a co-op kind of fashion. And I think that, you know, in a Mario Maker type of setting, I think that that's all really cool stuff, and I'm super glad to see it. Kind of shows that, you know, Mario Maker 2 as a package, between just making levels and putting them online, as well as now the versus and co-op online play, It's definitely another game that they are banking on to push their online service. This is another huge Nintendo first-party, very popular IP that is going to rely heavily on online play and online connectivity. And so, they've already got whatever 10 million people signed up on their online service. They want to get another 10 million people. And games like Smash Brothers and Mario Maker 2 are the kinds of games popular enough and quality enough to convince people to sign up for that service if they're still on the fence. And coincidentally enough, speaking of online play and online service, Nintendo took another extra step by including the ability to purchase this game bundled with a year of the online service. Now, I have to admit, I know that there's controversy there. There's been controversy around the online thing from the jump. I've discussed it many times. There's some controversy about this bundle that they put together. I actually see it as a smart business move. And I think it's because I just don't get angry about the online service, even though there are some issues, I agree. To me, it is what it is. All three companies are charging now, so I don't care. And so I see this bundle where you can buy the game for $59.99 and then for another $10, get a year of the online service. So for $69.99, you get the game and a year of the online service. And that is essentially saving $10 on the online service because it's normally $20 a year. And the other brilliant thing they did is if you already are signed up for a year service, if you sign up for this, it'll just stack. So your following year, when you're set to renew, instead of charging you $20 for that second time, they're only going to charge you $10 because you bought the Mario Maker bundle. So smart. So effing smart, Nintendo. Again, I'm not saying it's necessarily the right call for the consumer. I don't want to get into that conversation. I'm talking business only, and it is so smart. It is very, very well done, Nintendo. So I have to give them props there. And so I think overall, that's the most I have to say, really. That's the Mario Maker 2 Direct. As a Nintendo Direct, as a game-focused Direct presentation, it was excellent. I very much enjoyed it. As far as a sequel, Mario Maker 2 looks like to be an amazing example of a sequel. It looks like a great sequel and a great, great game. Did it sway me, one of the few people who's on the fence about Mario Maker? No, it really didn't. I really don't see myself giving in and picking this game up because even if I get tempted because I like all the shiny Mario stuff, I just love seeing the Mario graphics and the characters and the worlds. Like when I watch the gameplay of Mario Maker, part of me gets really excited. I'm like, yeah, Mario. But then I'm like, oh, but it's not really Mario. It's other people's Mario levels, and they do so much weird, wacky shit that I don't usually have fun playing their levels. And so I have to talk myself off the cliff when it comes to Mario Maker. Because if I don't think about it, I'll just blindly walk right into a store and buy this game thinking, I've got the great new Mario game, and then get home and be really disappointed. I have to remind myself, Mario Maker isn't for Rob. It's not for me. It's great, but don't play it because you're not going to have fun. Millions of other people are going to have fun with it. They don't need me to buy a copy of this game and have fun with it. And it's just something I have to convince myself not to do. So overall, still a strong day, regardless of any of that stuff. Great Direct. Mario Maker 2 looks hype. I know a lot of you guys are going to love it. So talk about it. What did you think about the Direct, the presentation? What do you think about Mario Maker 2? From the reactions I was seeing online, everyone's very stoked on the game. So I think it's going to be a big hit. I predicted those sales in a video a couple weeks ago. Over 10 million was my prediction, and I'm sticking by it, especially now. I think this game is going to do gangbusters. So what did you guys think? Talk about your Mario Maker 2 hype. And with that, this video is a wrap. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in. This is Rob of Ro2R Review, and I'll catch you next time on another video.